Over the years and throughout my life, through the business that I've done, I've come in contact with a lot of people that you could say was evil. And Michael definitely fell into this category. I first met this cat in probably the early 2010s, and it was through my homie Danny C. I have no idea in hell how Danny met this motherfucker, because this is not the type of cat that we'd usually be kicking it with. But that was the thing with Oxycontin, boy, because that shit will bring you together, bring motherfuckers that never have anything to do with each other, and bring you together and make you best motherfucking friends. And like I said, Michael wasn't really like the rest of us. You see, we was all still in our mid-20s, and Michael, he was a lot older than that. I mean, he was pushing late 50s easy. But age wasn't the only thing that made Michael different than us. You see, we was all career criminals, we all had sordid past, we was drug dealers. But Michael was a lot more extreme than us. He had a far more extreme lifestyle than any of us had ever experienced. And he'd been to prison a number of times for some pretty high risk, high gain fucking operations that he got himself into. His last stint, I believe, was for armed robbery. It was straight home invasion. But before that, he used to rob banks. So he done a lot of crazy shit. But Michael's tendency for high profile crimes wasn't the only thing that made him unique. Because Michael, he lived an alternative lifestyle. Yeah. And he lived that lifestyle fast. In fact, he tells us that the first time he went to prison was when he found out he had AIDS. Because yeah, he got down like that. So I'm just gonna cut to the chase, tell you how I ended up meeting this fool and everything like that. Like I said, Danny seemed to this cat and he brought me over there. And we was over there for one specific reason, and that was to get Oxycontin. That was the meaning of our fucking lives. So we gotta drive all the way out to Vacaville, and we get to his spot. I'm a little bit taken off because this motherfucker was living lavish, but he had a really nice house. It was the nicest house I've ever seen any drug dealer ever have. And when you kick it with this motherfucker, boy, it's fucking cool, boy. He's got a whole fucking smorgasbord, every single substance known to man. You name it, he probably fucking got it. And he'll share it with you. But before all that, you gotta get through the front door. And that's where shit got a little weird, and that's where it got real sketchy, especially the first time I come around there. Cause Michael answered the door, and he fucking answered wearing a robe and his underwear. And I was real sketchy about going in that motherfucker's house at first, blood, because let's just say that this motherfucker was real flamboyant, blood. Real out there. I ain't got nothing against gay people, blood. You fucking know that. I love them motherfuckers like anybody else, but this was a little different, man. This was a strange situation. And I could see this motherfucker sizing me up and shit when we go inside. And to me, that shit seemed real fucking fishy. But later on, I'm gonna figure out why he doing that. Because he doing that to every motherfucker come over. You're trying to figure out, you got a little sugar in your tank. If you somebody that's corruptible. He's trying to figure out you could be compromised. And he figured out pretty fucking quick. I just don't play that way, blood. I mean, it's all good if you do, blood, but that ain't me, man. That just fucking ain't me. And he figures that out pretty fucking quick. But you kind of can't blame the motherfucker, man. He's just a predator looking for prey, blood. Just like everybody else in this world, man. He's just trying to do his thing. He trying to find his next fucking, I don't know, way. Anyway, you step in the entryway of his house and he closed that fucking door. And my worst fears came to reality at that point, because next thing you know, this motherfucker's got a pistol and he's sticking it up right at me. And this shit threw me the fuck off, but Danny's telling me to fucking be cool and shit like that. He's saying it's just this fool Randall. And this cat was a weird motherfucker, man. Every single time I went there, this dude never said a fucking word. He just looked like some middle-aged, disheveled old fucking dope addict. He went around his underwear too. He just carried a fucking one of them shoulder holsters for his gun, blade, just pointed at you. And like I said, this motherfucker did not speak, ever. And but like I'm telling you, this shit really had me fucking tripped out at first, man, with this shit. This motherfucker popped out from nowhere, this fucking freak pointing a gun at me and shit. But I calmed down pretty quick. It was his fucking standard protocol, standard routine. It's fucking bizarre. I don't know their relation or anything. I don't know if that motherfucker's his spouse, his fucking dope friend. I don't know. I have no his brother. I have no fucking idea. And I never found out who the fuck he was either. Anyways, Oxys back then, if you was buying them in bulk at this point in time, you could get them as low as 30, which was rare. Most time you gotta buy them for 60 individually, fucking. But Michael was selling to you for 20. And he always had him. He was always fucking solid. And later on, when the OCs went to OPs and you couldn't fucking snort them or shoot them or do a lot of other shit with them, he still had them. And when everybody figured out rocks and sets, how you could take them, they was all pretty much the same thing as fucking oxys, because you could shoot them, smoke them, snort them, eat them, same as oxys. He had them too. And like I said, he was the most hospitable motherfucker you ever gonna kick it with, blood. He would plug you with everything you could imagine. You would leave there high out your fucking mind every time. You'd always have a good time when you're kicking with this motherfucker. Or most of the time anyway. Because like all good fucking things in life, this shit would eventually start to come to an end. And after a while, things started really deteriorating over there, like pretty fucking significantly. Like I remember going over there a couple times and picking up fucking Michael. And this motherfucker be in a real bad state, man. Like he coming down off some bad dope or fucking he's having some AIDS complications or something. Like there were a couple times I went over there and he straight looked like he was fucking dying, blood. Like he sit there in his little tighty whitey underwear, man. He just looked like an old ass jobber, man. Looked like one of them tired ass pro wrestlers that nobody ever likes and nobody wins, just goes there and gets his ass beat by a big star and shit like that. That's what he looked like, man. He looked like just some tired old wrestler. And he'd be leaning against his fucking counter just moaning like he fucking dying, blood. And this shit would go on for hours. Hours, blood, fucking hours. Cause I'd have to sit there and wait. I mean, what the fuck is I gonna do? I just drove 45 minutes to get to his spot. I got everybody's money. Everybody's waiting on me. I'm probably fucking dope sick myself. I need to get this shit. So if he dies, I'm gonna fuck, I don't know what, but I'm gonna wait. To be totally honest with you, back in them days when I was an OC fiend, I was so fucking scandalous. If that fool keeled over and fucking died, I could pretty much guarantee I'd have rifled through his shit until I found his oxys. But I wouldn't have cared how long I would have had to listen to this motherfucker moaning and groaning and whatever, but I would have listened to it all day, all fucking night if it took, just to get them fucking things, man. That's what I'm saying. If you ain't ever been opiate dependent, fucking don't get that. This one fucking time I was already pulling that shit, and he just like keel over in the couch, and he don't respond to me for like 5 or 10 minutes. I started getting tempted to start looking around for his shit, man. I thought he was dead. But the craziest shit was when Michael's ex showed up. Actually, I don't know if it was the craziest shit, but it was up there. Michael's ex showed up from fucking San Quentin. He just did like 7 years for some armed robbery or some shit like that. I was actually there that day when that dude fucking showed up. And I remember meeting him and seeing him, man. He's some unhealthy looking motherfucker, like real skinny looking dude. Had like yellow eyes, like he had jaundice or some shit. Anyway, I guess homeboy really liked that Chiba. And I don't know the situation in prison. I always figured you could get that shit there. Maybe you could. Maybe it's just real lower quality, something like that. When he got to Michael shot him up. And that dope, it was too fucking good, too strong. It fucking killed him, man. He fucking died. Michael had all them fucking drugs, everything you could fucking think of known to man pretty much in his fucking little cabinet. But he had no Narcan. He didn't have anything to help anybody. So, dude fucking died. So I was there earlier that day picking up and left. But Danny came through later when they found out dude was fucking OD'd and died and shit. And Danny had to help him. Danny had to stay there and help him deal with that. I mean, needless to say, they didn't call the cops about this. And I've had to experience similar this myself, and it's fucking horrible. It's something you're never gonna forget. It's something you can't just wash away. So, man, I'm just so fucking glad I wasn't there for that shit. But something even more disturbing was gonna happen, like, not much long after that. And I don't know how the fuck this happened. Well, basically, I should lace you up on this cat first before I tell you this whole fucking situation. So in my hood, there was this other cat that lived down the street from us. We grew up with. We knew him real fucking well. Like, real well. We knew him our whole fucking lives. This dude's name was, we're gonna call him Ray Ray. And Ray Ray, he was alright at first when he was younger, man. But he was always kind of spineless. He a backstabber. And you can't really trust this motherfucker. So as we got older and situations changed, I started kind of cutting this fool loose. I didn't really kick with him that much anymore because he was kind of a fucking dirtbag, man. You can't do my profession and have people like him around you. And like I said, this guy was kind of fucking shady. I mean, he'd do some scandalous shit sometimes. And you could be a real honest, upright motherfucker, but once you become a dope fiend, blood, everything's gonna change. Believe me, you gonna do things that you gonna be fucking disgusted with yourself for doing, blood. You ain't got no fucking choice. It's the name of the game. I don't know anybody that didn't have to fucking do things they didn't want to do for dope. It's just how it is. But this motherfucker Ray Ray, man, he took it to the whole new levels of being just a scumbag dope fucking fiend. I mean, you could do this fool a favor and he would get like 10 beans. He wouldn't kick you down one. Complete soulless fucking scumbag. So I just straight pretty much had nothing to do with this cat at all. But I still had to deal with him sometimes because of Oxy. Because we was both fucking addicts. But I think Danny was twirling with this motherfucker one day or something, man. He said too much. I don't know the exact details. All I know is that this motherfucker Ray Ray, he's gonna meet Michael. I mean, it's possible Danny's telling me the truth, what he says happened. He swear he didn't take that motherfucker there, but I know that fool was having car problems back then. So I was thinking maybe he gave him a ride to his house because he needed him at that moment in time or something. I don't know. Danny swear up and fucking down. This motherfucker followed him from our hood in Vallejo all the way to Vacaville, like 45-minute drive. Watch him go in the house and wait till he leaves and goes in himself. And I just don't know, man. I really don't fucking know. Either one's possible. Because in that game, man, the motherfuckers would do anything for that shit. And Danny probably run his mouth, tell him how cheap we get shit. And this motherfucker determined he gonna get it too. Because, man, that would have been some really ballsy shit for him to sit there, post it out. Because I don't know how long Danny was even there. He could have been there hours. Wait for him to fucking leave. And then go knock on the door and deal with all that shit, getting the gun stuck up in his face, everything else. Well, regardless of the situation, a new fucking friendship was made because from there on, Ray Ray's gonna be start dealing with Michael too. But it wasn't just a friendship though. It's a little something more than that. Because remember when I was telling you earlier when this motherfucker first meets you, when Michael first meets you, he gonna size you up and try to figure out if you're corruptible or not. If somebody that, you know, is gonna do things with him. Apparently Ray Ray was, and he figured it out. Apparently Ray Ray real fucking corruptible. And dude size that shit up fucking quick. And you had a straight Tiger King situation like that fucking TV show, man. Some real sick shit going down. And blood, I had no fucking idea this motherfucker Ray Ray down for his own team like that, man. For real. I known this motherfucker my whole life, blood. He had girlfriends, man. He used to have them female jack-off magazine, Perfect 10, Playboy. He didn't have dudes. I've been to that motherfucker's house hella times, man. I seen all his jack-off magazines. Unless he taking it to such a fucking extreme that he even pretended to jack off to women really being gay. But I doubt it, man. I fucking doubt it. So I just don't fucking know, man. I don't think dude was naturally gay, but no matter what the situation, one day it fucking happens, man. Me and Danny go over there, and Ray Ray's already there. This motherfucker sitting there on fucking Michael's couch like it all good and shit like that. I started getting kind of angry because I knew that motherfucker, he done something sneaky to get over there and shit like that. And I was also surprised as fuck that he was there. But then feelings of anger I had, they was going to turn into something else completely real fucking quick. It was going to turn into complete fucking disgust when Michael came in there and ordered that fool to come sit on his fucking lap. Blood, for real. It was one of the most disturbing motherfucking things I ever seen in my life when that motherfucker got up off the couch, went over there and sat on fucking Michael's lap like he's some kind of awkward ventriloquist dummy. Fucking disturbing, man. And I have no idea what actually transpired between them two motherfuckers, but you can only assume the worst if you're doing shit like that. Like, he is straight bitch. And to top it all off, fucking Ray Ray, he calling fucking Michael, he calling him Pappy, blood. He called him Pappy. I think Michael was getting some form of sexual gratification out of this whole situation, out of the fact he humiliating this cat, and he pretty much like showing us how he turned him out. I think he trying to make some kind of point about the fluidity of sexuality or something like that, how anybody can be gay or something like that, but I don't fucking believe that shit, man, because I only like women, but I got zero fucking interest in any men at all, blood. So like I said, man, I can only assume the worst out this fucking situation. It's one of the creepiest goddamn things I ever seen. And if that dude was doing shit with Michael, he in a lot of fucking trouble. Because Michael had AIDS, remember? But that whole experience, that must have really been that motherfucker Ray Ray's point where he hit rock bottom. Because after that, things were gonna change for this motherfucker. He was gonna disappear after this, after a hot minute. I think the last person to see that motherfucker was Stench. And obviously by then, we already told Stench every fucking thing. I mean, as soon as we get back to the neighborhood, it's the first thing we telling people. Stench see him at the corner store and Stench call him Pappy, 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 over and over. I think dude must have been fucking humiliated by it or something like that. But maybe it's a good fucking thing because that dude left town, he cleaned himself up, he got married, I heard he got kids and every fucking thing now. So maybe it was for the better. Or maybe it was just Stench, man. I don't think anybody, I don't know, but I couldn't handle that level of fucking humiliation. But regardless of the fact, that dude cleaned his life up after that, so maybe it's a good thing, like I said. Anyway, I better wrap up this fucking story. There are a lot more to this shit, but there are a lot fucking more to this, but I ain't trying to make this no 30, 40 minute fucking story like them other ones, so I'm gonna cut this off right now. But shit at Michael's was just never the same after that dude fucking died there. And shit was starting to go downhill anyway. But we still kicked it there for a while after that. Sometime later, Michael moved to Paradise. It's like a few hours north from here. And I heard he got killed in the big ass fire they had there, but I don't know if that's true or not. To me, I bet you anything that motherfucker's still alive, man. He's probably still going strong. Probably still moaning and suffering every other fucking day, but he's probably still doing his thing. It's, you know, both a good thing and a bad thing that Moxie's gone. It's definitely a better thing they fucking gone. But the downside is what's replaced it, man. Much fucking worse. What's a real shame though, man? That fucking family that created this whole fucking nightmare, the Secklers, Purdue Pharma, that family, the Secklers, they fucking invented Oxycontin, and they did it intentionally knowing it's gonna addict people. And not one of those motherfuckers is gonna spend a day in jail for what they did. None of them gonna pay any price for what they did. They killed more Americans than all wars combined, our foreign enemies, all wars combined. That family killed more Americans than that. They are responsible for hundreds of thousands, millions of fucking deaths in America. You say, oh no, everybody's dying off Eddie now. But when I was in junior college, nobody was even doing heroin anymore. You couldn't even sell it because nobody wanted to fucking do it. It wasn't until Purdue Pharma brought that shit and made opiates like extremely fucking strong, hardcore, addictive opiates like that and made it mainstream and put it in American society. America has never recovered from this. Anyway, thank you for listening. Really appreciate it. If you can help me out at all, hit me up on my PayPal, my Patreon. I really appreciate any help or support I can get so we can keep this fucking channel going. Merry Christmas.
So, Danny, let me ask you, do you know anything about Waterford crystals? Could you put the word out that I'm looking for Waterford crystals, preferably with paperwork?